Dawson Rider Wiki.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my review of Power Rangers Ninja Steel's Halloween special episode. So this should be a pretty quick review because I usually don't have a whole lot to say about the Christmas or Halloween episode. Halloween, I don't know if I said Halloween like that, other than just my general policy on them. But it wasn't terrible. It wasn't like anything jumping out of my seat, but it also wasn't making me want to claw my eyes out or anything. Like, I'll give them at least credit that it wasn't really a clip show. Basically, the premise was they got this board game that was a trap by Galaxy Warriors, and they kept having to play. They were trapped in playing, and then they would touch the orb and they would get sucked into battling a monster they've already battled. And it was basically a way to use some of the battle footage from the Ninja footage that we haven't used for monsters we already did use, with a little bit of original footage mixed in. So I'll give them at least a little credit. Within the last batch of the Christmas specials and Halloween specials from the last few years, they at least either haven't always been a full-on clip show, or there's been a little bit more to it than a clip show. And like the premise for it wasn't that bad, and kind of a clever way to use footage that they just had. But at the same time, I've mentioned this in past episode reviews for Halloween or Christmas specials, but I still don't think that they need a dedicated special. Like, I think that they should just have the episode happen to take place when that holiday's happening. You know, lots of other shows do it. Like, the episode doesn't even have to revolve around the holiday. You could simply have, you know, just the background of the world acknowledging, hey, it's October, and then, you know, at the end of the episode you cap off the classic, like, oh, you know, the day is saved, now we're back at school, with them going to a Halloween party. You don't have to have the episode revolve around it. I'm not saying never do a Halloween or Christmas or holiday special of any sort. I'm just saying, if you can't think of an idea based on an organic plot, you don't need to go out of your way to do a weird clip event type show. Like, last year that we had the Warg World, I think was in Super Dino Charge, which would have been, or Dino Supercharge. It's all messing me up, the fact that Ninja Steel is Super Ninja Steel and Dino Supercharge was the first one to change it, so now I keep wanting to call it Super Steel, and then I fixed it, and I don't know. Anyway, that was a side note. My point was, Warg World was like the perfect, if I remember right, that was the zombie one. It was like the perfect one to just have an episode that was already regular be Halloween, and then they didn't. So, I don't know, I go on about this every time I do a special review, but my point is that you can still have the episode be themed around the holiday that it's taking place during, but you don't have to have a dedicated episode, because even though, like I said, I give them credit for not making it just a straight up clip show, it's still also, you know, nothing special, and they're usually some of the weakest episodes. And there was also this weird, like, subplot lesson about, because Levi didn't want to help them, or not help them, play a board game with them, that Mick came in and was like, well, they do what you want to do, shouldn't you do what they want to do? And there is a lesson there which applies to friendships and relationships about, like, the give and take, but it's also not a black and white lesson. I mean, I think that if there's something your friends or friend or whatever is doing that you really don't want to do, you don't have to do it. I think that's a stupid lesson. I mean, as someone who spent years either in situations with friends or family or extended family where I couldn't get out of it because I didn't have a ride or I was little, and when you're little you're just an accessory, you can get out of it. But now that I'm older, if you don't want to be there, just leave. Or if you don't want to do it, just don't go. I think that was a weird black and white lesson to draw. Because like I said, there is a lesson to be had there about the give and take of a relationship. But sometimes if you just don't want to do something, you don't want to do it. Especially something so stupid. It's not like it was some sort of important event to one of the Rangers that he didn't, like, that's a different situation where even if you don't want to do it, it might be something really important to that other person. But this was just playing a board game. So I thought it was kind of stupid, to be honest. And it was also kind of funny that Levi basically had that plot because he wasn't in the footage for like 4 out of the 5 scenarios. I was also slightly confused because I guess the scenarios were happening in the real world, and until they started saying they needed Brody and Brody showed up, I thought they were just being put into like a pocket or dream dimension where this was happening, but apparently it was the real world. One major plus of this episode was there was no Victor and Monty, so that's already like a bazillion points in its favor because that was just a nice break. The only other thing I really feel the need to point out is how weird it is that they are still trick-or-treating at their age, presumably at 17-ish. That just seems weird, unless it was like one of those plots where they have, like, you know, older teenagers be chaperones to groups of trick-or-treaters. Like, they did that in Buffy once, but for them to just trick-or-treat, it seemed weird. Like, they're trying to be like, look kids, we're relatable, we trick-or-treat too. Like, they could still dress up without trick-or-treating. Like, when you get older, you go to, like, parties and stuff and dress up, or, like, costume contests or cosplay. It doesn't mean, oh, I can't dress up anymore because I'm not gonna go get candy. I don't know. Overall, it was okay. Not awful, not the best. I'd probably give it a 6. Like I said, there was at least some effort put into it, I guess, on some level, but I still don't think we need these dedicated episodes. But anyway, that's about it. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Dawson Ryder, signing out.